next speaker is Jen Fieldman, and we're going to really talk about the 2 keys to successfully market your business. And there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to business, but marketing doesn't need to be one of them. And there's a lot of there's a lot of challenges and a lot of problems that's talked about in marketing, but what we need right now are ideas and solutions. So in this session, Jen's going to do an amazing job of walking through the 2 key elements to market your business, demonstrate how you can customize, and spend time on the platforms that matter most. This is something we need as a company ourselves. There's TikTok, there's LinkedIn, there's all these different platforms you can market on. So I'm really excited to bring Jen to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. Hello. On. Tech. So hi, I'm Jen. I like to start off and give just a little bit of background on who I am and why I'm talking today. So I spent over 18 years working in corporate, agencies, advertising, promotion, shopper, PR. I'm probably missing something in there. And in 2018, I burnt to a crisp, quit my job, no idea what I was going to do. But I knew that one of the things I wanted was to really use my powers for good. So I went to work for myself. And then I think, everybody loves a cute, right? My presentation is not here. Everyone loves a cute dog, so this is my CMO, Harlow. So my philosophy when it comes to marketing is that marketing should work for you and not against you. And one of the things I'll continue talking about, but really stood out for me when I became an entrepreneur and started my own business, is there are so many people telling you what you should do. And at the end of the day, it's not always about the recommendations you might get. An agency might come to you, and I worked agency, I love agency, but they might come to you and they might be recommending something like, you need to be doing digital ads. Okay, why? That's my question. And I was speaking with some women, actually a woman in tech here in the Twin Cities, and she said to me, no one talks about marketing the way you do, because I have no skin in the game. It's not about my expertise. It's about what works for you, your business, your objectives, and then we're going to talk about this one a little bit today and what feels aligned with how you like to show up. So my goal today is for you to walk away feeling more confident about marketing, whether you're an entrepreneur or a small business, or you're someone who's thinking about starting a business and you're like, ugh, marketing. Because for a lot of us, nobody starts okay, maybe in this group this is different, but a lot of times nobody starts a business because all they want to do is run a business. There's a little bit more involved. Maybe there's passion, maybe there's freedom, maybe there's I want more time. And so marketing, in my mind, does not have to be like the killer. So I like to start with a quiz. For those of you in the audience, I'll just look at you, but you can also play along at home. Question number 1, who likes marketing their business? Yes, look at that, thank you. Guess what? I hate marketing my own business. I honest to God don't like it. It's just, it feels so exhausting, right? You've got this business. Calvin's running AI, which I'm very interested in, right? And it's like there's all these things going up, and then it's like you go online. Well, you should be doing this, and you should be on TikTok, or you should be on LinkedIn, or maybe you should be on Instagram. And it's like, it's exhausting. True or false? So social media, great tool. But if you're using social media to market your business, do you need to use it every day? Yes. Feather. No.
False.
False. Yes. False. First of all, I'm going to talk about this later. You don't have to use social media to market your business. But also, you don't need to be doing this every day, right? We got stuff to do. We don't need to be like ruining our thumbs with the never-ending scroll. True or false? There's a correct way to market your business. False. Yes. Thumbs down in front. I love it. False. Oops. Oh, I went back. Bad. Shh. There is not a correct way to market your business. There are 8,000 million different ways to market your business, and every marketer you ask will have a different opinions. And if you've heard the adage about opinions, there you go. Here are the 2 key elements. I call them 2 key elements. I don't call them 2 secrets, because honestly, every time I see here's the 5 secrets you need to know, blah, 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 it makes my skin crawl. It's not a secret. It's something I've learned, right? I worked for 18 years. I hope to God I know some of this if I'm talking about marketing. Those 2 things are consistency and clear messaging. And the reason I highlight on these is because a lot of times people will already know who their audience is. They're already going to know what their objectives are and what they're trying to do. But these 2 can really muck up the works. But if you have it, literally this is all you need. Let's talk about consistency. I'm going to take a little drink of water because we're going to go down the rabbit hole for a minute. Okay. Consistency does not mean every day. So back to the slide about you need to post every day, you need to market every day. That's not what consistency is. It's about cadence. It's about having a regular implementation or showing up schedule. Showing up is a lot of the quote for social, but it's doing something with regularity, not every day. You should never be sacrificing quality for consistency. So I know a lot about I know a lot about using Instagram as a tool. I shouldn't say I know a lot about Instagram. Someone else will definitely knows more than me. But when I started out, it was oh, okay, I just have to post on Instagram every day, and then my clients will flock to me, right? It was literally if you build an Instagram account, they will come. Big false, huge false. It's not how it works. It might have worked for some people, but I probably would poke holes in what happened. It's much better to have quality over quantity. I will talk to a client, and if they are using any form of social or just any type of marketing, if they could do it once, let's take a newsletter. That's not social media. If you can send out a really good newsletter once a month, that's better than I'm going to send 3 in May and maybe 1 in August, and then no one's hearing from me from January. So it's about quality versus quantity. And if you need less posting, let's say, or less frequency to have quality, that's okay. And now we're going to go a little bit into the woo. Okay, in a way that feels aligned to you. Okay, alignment, my mind, comes from marketing style. This is my approach to marketing. Everybody's got a different one. You don't have to follow this one. It's what's worked for me. It works for a lot of my clients. If it doesn't work for you, that is okay. That's not the point of this. This is just to give you information. So I look at marketing style as attitude towards marketing and sales, plus your preferred interaction. So here's an assessment I've put together. Again, my framework. It might work for you, it might not. But really what this is based on is how do you feel about marketing and sales? So a lot of people might be like, okay, I feel cool about marketing. And then they go to sales, and then they have to go to some sort of conversion, whether it's a social media post, whether it's talking to someone in person, you're having a coffee, we're meeting, how am I gonna suddenly turn this around and, close the deal? Some people, super good at sales, salesperson, they got it, they're networking, they have no problems reaching out on LinkedIn, they're cold DMing people and they love it. They don't really think about marketing, but they don't have to in their mind because they're reaching out, they're making connections, they're closing deals. Then we got people who are kind of I don't really know. This might not be their sweet spot for them, marketing or sales. They're just kind of maybe, and literally this is what I do if you're on a call with me, maybe we're okay with marketing, maybe we're not today. It isn't something they feel comfortable with, and then they don't feel confident about it. And there is a level of confidence you need to kind of put yourself out there to sell your product or your service. to sell yourself. And then there's also spots on number D. You may be comfortable getting your message out and making the sale in a lot of different ways, but you find it hard to stay on strategy. Squirrelpreneur is the term I really like, ooh, squirrel, or shiny object syndrome. This is like, oh, Instagram came out with Reels, I gotta get on that. And when that happened, I talked to people and maybe got on a soapbox and said, well, why, right? If you wanna do it because Instagram is prioritizing Reels, fantastic. If you're doing it because you thought, oh my God, I have to do this now, not so much. Same with Clubhouse. Okay, impromptu question. Who here is still on Clubhouse? I know. I have a friend who's on Clubhouse right now. I don't even know when I last had that app on my phone. It works for her. But when Clubhouse came out, if you had an iPhone, you were like, cool, I'm on Clubhouse. And if you had an Android, you were probably like, stupid Apple, why am I not on Clubhouse? I've never seen so many people lose their minds on social media as when Clubhouse came out, and everyone was like, I gotta be on it, or I'm not on it. But I was like, okay. So this is my assessment. I've kind of talked through A, B, C, D. These are some styles. Or those were some questions asked. This is the style. So for those people who are great at sales, great at closing the deal, for them, marketing tactics and platforms that really facilitate those strong sales skills and reaching out to people are going to work best. They might be on LinkedIn. They might be the cold DMers. They are networking. They're at conferences. They're at Startup Week. They're doing all these things, and this works for them, and I say, go for it. For someone who's maybe not quite comfortable either way, it's a little bit more of a test and learn, and there's nothing wrong, right? You're not going to ruin your marketing by something you do. Like, that's sometimes the fear that comes up to people of like, well, if I don't do the right thing, I'm gonna ruin it. You really aren't, barring any sort of like major controversial posting you might do. That can trip you up a bit, but in general, you're not gonna like wreck your marketing and lose your company if you're testing and learning and you're trying different things. Usually what I recommend for those people who might feel kind of like, I'm not sure, start with a simple marketing plan, okay? Let's use social as an example. One platform, one audience, done. Not 8,000, one. See how it goes for 30 days. Usually in 30 days, you can get a good sense of this is working or it's not. And working could mean it's easy for you to keep up with it. Working could mean people are responding. Working could mean you just don't hate your life when it comes to marketing. 30 days usually gives you enough time to build that up. If something doesn't work, modify. For those who love marketing and then closing the deal, the sales thing isn't their jam, it's really about having a simple framework and a guideline for sales. So one of the things, I'm C. I'm the person who was like, I know marketing, right? And then I'd sit in coffees with people and I'd be like, so how do I turn this into like Calvin and I met. We had coffee, we're jamming, and now I'm like, do you want to work with me? I could not have been more awkward. It was super bad. I went through this whole gamut of like, I'm bad at sales. I had sales coaches tell me I'm bad at sales, all these things. Okay, I wasn't bad at sales. I literally didn't know how to like switch the conversation. So some of it is like, you're on a call or you're meeting with someone. Get them to agree, set up an agenda, right? I'm on a discovery call. That's what I call it in my world. And I might say, hey, Beatrice, I'm so glad we're chatting today. So my understanding is you're interested in learning a little bit more about how we might work together. So what I'd love to do is chat with you, learn more about what you've got going on in your business, and then if it makes sense, we can chat about how we might work together. See how easy that was? Over a year, that stumped me. So it doesn't have to be this like hard thing about sales. It's like a tiny little framework, a little guideline. God knows there's 8,000 freebies out there or free lead magnets around how to set up sales, how to have a sales conversation. And then D are for my friends who are like, Clubhouse, TikTok, Reels, LinkedIn Stories. I don't know. That one just, I don't get it yet. You like to try new things. If that's you, that is amazing. Try something new, right? See how you like it. Just watch out if you're just like shiny object syndrome, and if it's not giving you any traction because you're spending so much time going from here to here to here, and you're not really building up any of that consistency within one platform or within your audience. So this is the one I give myself a good pat on the back for. Interaction preferences. So we've already talked about this. There's 8,000 ways to market your business. Okay, well, how do I know what works for me? This one, I feel like, really becomes the piece where you feel aligned. And part of this started from insights I had talking to people who hate being on social media. They hate it. Freaking hate it, right? And especially, I would say, I work with a lot of solopreneurs. They hear, like, oh, I've got to be on social. But even other companies and businesses, like bigger ones, people are like, well, I'm told I'm supposed to be on social media. What am I doing? Okay, let me maybe be polarizing. You got like a heavy, your audience is like a bunch of dude engineers. This showed up for me once. Company wanted to hire engineers, talking to me about how do we make our Instagram work for us? It's like, okay, so we had a conversation. Why Instagram? Well, that's where we're supposed to be. Nope. I actually did a quick Google. I found, like, I'm so not tech savvy, so I'm gonna butcher this. I do a quick Google and I'm like, what about these like stack things or whatever it is? There's some like boards and all these other things. That's where your audience is. They might be on Instagram when they're bored or because their, partner's like, selfie, right? But like you want to reach them in context. I mean, that's part of it. It's like you want to reach your audience in context, but it also has to work for you. Because if you told me, for number one, Jen, the only way you're going to get clients is if you cold DM people in Instagram, which I have been told, I won't do it. I won't do it. I just really won't. Unless I'm sending like a funny, snarky dog meme or something like that. But this happened, and this was the other piece of how I started to develop interaction preferences. I worked with someone, smart, amazing, fantastic, made $1 million last year in the online space, and she had a whole program around Instagram, and a key tenet was Instagram DMs. It was last summer. So I'm trying to do it, and trying to do it, and trying to do it, and I just finally realized I can't. Like, it's not in my DNA to do that. And so for about 3 weeks, I felt like, okay, clearly I suck at this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is really bad. I'm a failure. And all of a sudden I was like, hold the phone, which thankfully I also had a friend be like, hold the phone. This style doesn't work for me. Duh. If a client ever said to me, even when I was in my ad days, if they were like, well, we don't have the budget to do like a big TV spot, am I gonna tell them, okay, you can't market your business? You're not gonna be in the game? Super Bowl. Okay, so interaction preferences. This is not exhaustive, but it's some of the top ones. Your one-to-one. Instagram's a good one because you can talk to people like you're, hi, I see you, I know you. The DMs, maybe it's your Facebook page. Facebook groups. This can be if you're posting in Facebook groups. Let's say you have something for moms. There's a gazillion moms groups out there. My mom is actually part of one of them. It's kind of weird, not gonna lie. You also can have your own Facebook group where I can be talking about whatever I want all day long. Maybe people engage, maybe they don't. LinkedIn messages. So LinkedIn messages, I'm just gonna make a plea. If you're reaching out to someone, don't say something like, hey, I see we have a bunch of connections, and then I go look, because I do this, and I see that you're like a third connection and I can't even figure out how we're connected. That's like a delete. If you want to just be genuine, right? Be like, hey, I think what you've got to say is really cool. I'd love to chat, right? We don't need to cold DM and pitch me services or anyone's services. You can make it soft, but get to know someone. A lot of times what I've heard, and I agree, if you think about DMing people, it's like dating, right? I'm just gonna pick on you, Calvin, because I know your name, right? Calvin and I just met today, and I'm gonna propose to him, right? That's what it feels like when someone's DMing you, and they'll be like, hey, Jen, I see you do XYZ, and you have an agency, and I wanna do this. And I'm sitting here like, okay, first of all, I don't have an agency. You could have figured that out real quick if you went to my website. Second, slow your roll. Let's get to know each other. Let's have coffee, maybe a date. Don't propose right away. It's my sidebar on DMs. Networking, right? Hey, we're all here networking. We're gonna meet each other. I'm gonna introduce myself to you because you're sitting in the front row, and I'm like, so happy you're here, and I don't know your name. Referrals. Referrals are such a great one. It's so interesting to me because a lot of people will sometimes downplay the power of referrals in their business. You can have marketing that's just about referrals. You can have incentive programs. You can offer people, it's not kickbacks, referral fees. Just in my head, I always say kickbacks. Referrals are great. One-to-many, very similar as one-to-one, but you want to reach a broader audience. Speaking events, hi, I'm Jen. Here's your email newsletter. Here is LinkedIn posts or following people on LinkedIn. Not DMing, the little follow button. Blogging. Blogging. Who's blogging? Sometimes I blog. Sometimes I don't. YouTube. Blast it out there. TikTok could be in here. I don't use TikTok. That's why TikTok's not on here. Sorry. Okay, no interaction. I want to use social. I don't really want to talk to people. It happens. Pinterest. I don't know the correct stat. It would be helpful if I did, but Pinterest is one of the top search engines. Oh, really? I'm not just like pinning my Instant Pot recipes on there? No, apparently not. That was me. Pinterest, top search engine. Ads. Facebook, Instagram, Google. I say explore, there might be more. Explore them all. You might think like, oh, I've got to do Facebook ads, and maybe, but Google ads might work better for you. That works better for a friend of mine. Again, we have blogging. I'm just putting my message out there. I'm not trying to get you to engage with me. I just want to share it, reach the masses, help my SEO. LinkedIn posts again, because people can follow you and not necessarily connect with you. And then again, my favorite, the email newsletter. No social media. I have a friend. Hates social. Hates social. Power of 1,000 dying suns. Hates social media. Cool. SEO. She's huge into SEO. Google My Business. So especially for, this is all I really know about Google My Business, besides the fact that I could set it up, and if I can set it up, anyone can set it up. But also, if you have a local business, Google My Business is super key for you, because it will do its Google magic and pop you up when people are looking for something local, like I need coffee near me, right? Google My Business is going to help you. My friend blogging. My friend networking. Referrals, speaking events, email newsletters. All of these things, or a combo, are things you can use. The point is, it's about doing things that feel aligned to you. And to me, alignment, so I look at alignment as gut instinct. If anyone knows about interested in human design, then like, human design is my thing. I feel it in my little gut here. Intuition. The other thing can literally be like, I will actually do it. So I will actually send my newsletter. I will actually go networking versus I'm not doing it, not happening. Let's go with number 2. Clear messaging. It's interesting and funny and surprising to me, and I do this myself, to not realize how unclear our messaging can be. We know it. We know what we're talking to do. I'm like, we're laughing? Okay, we're laughing up front, hopefully not at me. This stuff is so ingrained in our head, right? We have a business, we have a passion for it, we love it, we know exactly what we're talking about, right? So why wouldn't everybody else? We're so in it, we can't always see it. Again, totally do it myself. So if you're consistently posting, I use posting, if you're consistently marketing, but you aren't clear in your messaging, there's a disconnect. So I am not an affiliate or a story brand certified person, but building a story brand by Donald Miller is probably, I would say, one of the best books for whether you have marketing knowledge or don't have marketing knowledge on how to think about clarifying your messaging. Like I have to give a nod to it. It's also a pretty easy read. Clear messaging, it's about being clear on like who you are, right? I'm Jen. I might never have an elevator speech that's coherent. It's true. But my audience knows that now. My audience is well aware that I change my branding colors like every couple months. You can scroll my Instagram feed and see it. Clear about who you serve. What is it that I do? Okay, well, I'm Jen. I tend to work with women-owned businesses. Generally, they're solopreneurs. It's not the only people I work with. I had somebody ask me the other day, do you work with men? He's not really like a bro dude. Would you work with him? I would. What do I do? That was a great question. What do? I do marketing strategy. I do some coaching. I'm not clear on this. I'll let you know when I am. But like Kelvin, you introduced what you did. You were dead on. I was like, oh yeah, pitching. I know exactly what that is. What do you offer? What's your service? Right? What do you offer? Can people figure that out? Do they know that when you start to market to them? Why should they choose you? So when I grew up in advertising, which is kind of a long time ago, USP, unique selling proposition. I think it's still used. I don't know if it is. Why me? Why Jen? Why would you work with me and not Beatrice? Beatrice is great. Why do you want to work with me versus her or her versus me? What makes me different? Interaction preferences? Maybe. How they can work with you. Sucker kills everyone, especially in the beginning. How can they work with you? Or how can they sign up to work with you? You've got AI, you've got tech. How do they start to do this? Sidebar, not meant to be a plug, but I guess it's a plug. I started developing a new product, service that's coming out as soon as I write the sales page, around client experience. Because one of the things I see online with even the most experienced entrepreneurs is that people don't always know how to work with you. You think they do. In this case, it's a woman I know. I've done one of her services. I go to her Instagram bio. I click on the link looking for the exact service she's talking about in her posts. Can't find it. I gotta scroll to get it. Eventually, like, I don't know, 3 folds down, I can find it. I think I know how I can work with her, and I'm not slamming her, she's amazing. But then I go do it, and then let's be honest, Harlow's barking, kids need something, you're out of coffee, you come back, and you're like, what was I doing? Oh, I'm back on Canva again. I've already forgotten. How can people work with you? We talk a lot. That was my first 6 months business. Hey, I'm Jen. Welcome to my Instagram page. Don't you want to work with me? I'm not telling you how to work with me. I'm just like sharing my knowledge. I'm building my know, like, trust factor. You got to tell people how they can work with you. How can you make it easy? This is actually something, too, that they talk about in building a story brand. Donald Miller talks about, like, on your, again, not techie, above your fold, you should have a, like, let's work together button or a contact me button, something so that people can easily get to you, but also easily understand, like, what is it you do? What is it that you offer and how they can work with you? My presentation gets kind of short. So we talked about consistency and clear messaging. And because I've got some time, let's also talk about your audience, okay? Who are you trying to reach? There was a gentleman, Feather, he had to go. He talked to me right before this. He's got a nonprofit. I'm gonna butcher the name, but it was about computers in communities, underserved communities. I know, I'm so sorry, so sorry. Who's your audience, I said to him. Because he said, I'm curious, like, what do you suggest for me, right? And he agreed, he's like, I know it's a big ask. Who's your audience? Is he looking for sponsors? Is he looking for those communities? Who's your audience? Then, where are they? So these are my bonus, no slides. I can make them if anyone wants them after. Where's your audience? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they in the, like, 80 mom Facebook groups in the Twin Cities? And where are they receptive to your message? Rewind about 20 years. I'm a little intern working at an ad agency here in the Twin Cities, applying to work at another agency here in the Twin Cities. I've got to do a project, right? I've got to show my skills and why they should hire me. So one of the things they have me pick out are ads I thought were really effective. I'm going to date myself so bad here. Ad number 1 that was super effective, it was a VW Passat ad that talked about the 5-second rule. Okay, I can't remember yesterday, I can still remember that ad because it spoke to the first-time adulting. Adulting is what we call it now, but like those first-time adults, like it's about this dad who's got a kid in the back who he's driving his Passat, talking about like when his kid drops food, he knows he's supposed to say, don't eat that, but in his head he's thinking 5-second rule. That resonates with the audience, right? That's a big traditional ad, but it resonated with the audience. The other one, when we think about where people are, Versace had an ad in Time magazine, right? Seems weird. I looked at that and I thought, that's super disruptive, right? I'm like reading Time. I have no idea what's happening 20 years ago. I'm reading Time magazine, I'm like, Versace? But what if I was not an intern and could buy Versace? Not as an intern, right? My people who could afford me, they might read Time. It was kind of disruptive. Where is your audience? Where are they active and open to your message, right? Where are they open to your clear message? So let's go with let's come up with a, okay, let's take my personal or my business Instagram account, which right now, mostly for my entertainment value, is about 90% funny dog stuff and snarky memes. No lie. You'll get my stories and you'll get like, the full moon, we should think about this, or like, hey, I'm at Startup Week. And then you'll also see my favorite dog account where their owner makes little crocheted hats of them, like bananas, and then feeds them bananas and calls them cannibals, right? I'm also a dog mom. So if I'm scrolling the gram, I might look at that. I mean, I would. I thought about getting it for Harlow. She'd probably murder me in my sleep. Where are your people and where are they open to your message? My dad, I'm totally gonna call him out. White boomer. If I'm trying to reach him, I'm not on Facebook because I just gave him a coupon for his birthday on Sunday. That was tech support because He doesn't. And had to walk him through how to find all his birthday messages on Facebook. He might sort of be on there. He doesn't really know how to do it. If I want to reach him, I'm on LinkedIn, because that's somewhere he would go. So when you think about your audience, where are they? Where are they receptive to your message? Where can you capture them? Where can you engage them? I'm trying to think. Let's come up with a non-Instagram example. Kelvin, where are you pitching clients?
Where am I pitching clients?
Yeah.
We have like a channel partnership strategy through entrepreneurial organizations.
Okay. Kelvin, so you can hear me, Kelvin's got a channel strategy partner. He's on an entrepreneurial network. Close enough? Yep. Right? That's where his people are. That's where his people are. That's where they're open. That's where they're receptive. So when you think about consistency, where do you want to show up? But where are they, right? Usually you can find a good connection point. Usually you can find a space where, let's go back a little bit. You can find somewhere they are. You don't have to do all of these, right? Simple. One platform or channel, one audience. Done. And then be clear. Be clear about what you do, who you serve. Again, StoryBrand talks about going to your, I should get paid for this, right? Let's call Donald and tell him. Kidding. You want people to come to where you are. So whether it's your website, your LinkedIn profile, your social media, wherever it is, you want them to know, like, okay, this person, they work with me. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to worry about, okay, well, Jen, okay, right, someone could say to me, well, Jen, no man is gonna come wanting to work with you because you specifically say you work with women entrepreneurs. And guess what? If someone reaches out to me, or a man or someone identifying as male, I'm gonna have that conversation. That's up to him, but I'm not worrying about it. I'm not worrying about it. My target, I literally think of a bullseye. This is how I learned it. Who's in your bullseye? Your bullseye can change, okay? Your bullseye might be, I worked with a company, startup, right? Some days, their bullseye might be VC. And then some days, their bullseye might actually be getting the clients to use their tech. For me, women might be mine, but then there's a halo, right? Like a target. Like a bullseye. Your message is still going to reach other people, so you don't need to worry about like, oh, well, it's too specific. That's okay. We like specific. Specific is why someone's gonna look at you and say, oh, that's the product I want versus that one, or service, or person, whatever it is. They're gonna choose your business over someone else. Or they're not gonna work with you and they're gonna choose someone else, that's okay. Not everyone, we don't always want everyone to work with us. That's how we can get clients who are slightly painful, or it's just work that's less fulfilling. So consistency, clear messaging. Those are your two. It's not a secret. I'm sharing it. I gave you bonus for audience. Now we're open for questions. My man, Kelvin.
It's funny. Like, I loved, if you can go back to the slide where you talk about the preferred interaction.
Yes.
So I am guilty of being a millennial who's not active on social, nor do I have a strong desire to. I love that one-on-one. That's kind of where I thrive. But at what point do you need to step out of your, I think there's also a lot of like low-hanging fruit in regards to social. I mean, when do you need to step out of your comfort zone as a business owner to do some of those things that may cross over into the other preferences, and why?
Sure. Shall I recap it for the people at home? No. Okay, I'm not going to recap it for the people at home. When do you step out of your comfort zone? So usually if something's either not working, I would say, or you're ready to scale. So here's what I mean by that. If what you've got working for you right now is totally working, you're growing at the pace you want, you feel like it's good, if it ain't broke, you don't have to fix it. You could, if everything's working, which I hope it is, and then you're like, maybe I want to dip a toe in, right? Maybe I kind of want to see something on social. Okay, well, so let's think about the different, and there's like 1,000 platforms, right? These are the ones I see a lot of. There's Discord, which I haven't really figured out how people are using Discord yet. There's Reddit, right? Do you want to be on Reddit threads or Reddit ads? My man over here is nodding, fantastic. Clubhouse, like what is something that you feel like, I might take a dip over here. This might be okay if this is where my audience is. Start there. Or you're like, I gotta scale. I need to build awareness. So not on here is the purchase cycle, sales cycle, customer journey. God, I've heard what I think of as the big funnel before I learned what like email funneling and all that stuff is, right? Think of me, I'm a funnel, okay? Up here's awareness. We gotta know that you exist to work with us. Then, this actually came from Condé Nast when I was in 2003 working on Audi. Because clearly, 20-something me totally knew about cars. Actually, I know a ton about cars now. So it's usually like awareness. Someone's got to be aware you exist. Then they start moving towards the like considerations that like, okay, I'm thinking about buying this. I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about whatever. Then it kind of comes into like engagement, decision-making, purchase, and then people will even talk about like the retention or like bringing people back through as a, okay, my mind blanked. It's my coffee time. As another client, like they want to work with you again. So for that, I would say you want to go big. You want to build more awareness. And so that one might be, I don't usually talk about ROI. I actually hate it. Because somebody will say, what's the ROI on an Instagram post? And I laugh, because I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, we can look at like how many people are looking at it and how many people engaged, and then from there, how many people maybe clicked your website, and then from there, maybe how many people signed up. But like 90% of people aren't gonna do that. And there's so much, right? Like what if someone's like, oh, Jen, that was a great Instagram post you put on with like, you getting ready, if you wanna laugh, you getting ready for Twin Cities Startup Week. Great, and then they reach out to me, fantastic. And they wanna work with me, cool, look at that. And then I get on the phone and I crush like I blow the sale. So it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't really say ROI. But I think you can look at time versus money. That's where ads come in. I'm not an ads expert, funny since I started in advertising, but like I'm just not an ads expert when it comes to Facebook, Instagram, and Google. If you're trying to reach a broader audience, and again, this could be on any platform, right? The ones I don't know about, like Reddit, and the AITA thread on Reddit, if you know, you know. It could be, I got enough to do. Calvin, you got enough to do, but you want to breach out, and you know or you suspect some of your audience might be on Reddit. Cool. Do you want to do an ad? Great. Throw money at that problem. Throw money at things you don't like to do. That's what I do. I mean, you have to have it. I get it. Hashtag write it off. But to a certain extent, if an ad is going to give you more time to actually meet with clients and book clients, use an ad. Or if you need to build awareness, use an ad. Does that help?
A lot.
Okay.
But throw money at it. Yep.
Throw money at it. Honest to God, the best day ever was when I was like, I hate writing sales pages. I've got a friend who's a copywriter. I was like, can I throw money at you to write my sales page? Yeah. Okay, cool, here you go. Done. Other questions? And I'm gonna put up my contact info, but I think there's also 80,000 other ways to get it. It's here. So if you're watching virtually and you have a question, here are the 8,000 ways to get a hold of me. Do you like my LinkedIn address? Because that's maybe my favorite. What is that? There are that many Jen Fieldmans in the world? Okay. Other thoughts? Anything you've used that worked, didn't work? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I'll get you in a minute. Let me grab this lady and then I'll get you in the back. Yeah.
I don't know how effective emailing is. It seems like it's really hard to get a response, especially, I mean, it's like you're between a rock and a hard place, because if you send a lengthy email, it probably will irritate them and they don't read it. Or if you send them an attachment and a brief email, it may alarm them and they won't open it. So it's like you're doomed either way.
So, are you currently getting clients through email?
No, so I use that as one of my marketing channels or strategies in the past, and I didn't have much success with email.
So from what I've observed, email is like, it works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. I think the last time I looked up like good open rates, it was maybe 30%. But if people open it and then like half the list is like people you know or people who are already supporting you and it's not necessarily getting you clients or exposure, I don't know. I know people who like have a regular email cycle and it works for them. I don't have a regular cycle, so it doesn't work for me. So I guess it would be, I would probably look at that and say, okay, is it worth my time and effort? Like, is there, and instead of an attachment, could you put a link that they can then go to if that maybe solves that piece of it?
Yeah, and I think that's even more skeptical, the link as well, because we know people have this hesitance of clicking on something and then a viral issue happening. But I think for emails, and this just came in my head when I was sending a slide copy over to someone, I think really just copying one image, cramming some like really powerful words on that image to get their attention, maybe, I don't know. You just got to get creative, because it's kind of, to me, becoming extinct, kind of like cold calling.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna have a visceral reaction to cold calling. So, if email doesn't work for your audience, then it's extinct. Like literally, I mean, it's not me being facetious or funny, like it's true. There are people out there who will be like, email is not extinct. And when social media goes down, if you don't have an email list, then you know, like your whole business is gonna collapse. Which, okay. If it's not working for you, it's not worth the effort. And if there's concern within your audience about, you know, clicking on links or putting images in or all this different thing, I would look at something different. I'd look at a different tactic. You don't have to have it. Does that help? Okay. Gentleman in the back.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
So we have a skincare and beauty line.
Okay.
And what should be the best, medium to advertise for that?
No. Who's your, wait, can we keep it? Who's your audience? If you want to.
Realistically, females in 20s and 30s, all the way up to the 60s.
Okay. So, I'd look at it. Let me think about this. My gut says Instagram. Here's why. It's where you've got a ton of the 20s and 30s who are, that's where they are. They're still there. You might halo out, unless, I guess the difference would be if nope, I'm still gonna stick with Instagram. Here's why. So if I'm thinking 20s and 30s are your bullseye, and there's a halo maybe up to the 60s, they might be on Instagram following their brands, like following other people, The other thing, I gotta think about that one. If you didn't want to do social, maybe then something you do is events. Or, so maybe it's local. God, there was a Mother's Day event here, like pre-COVID, if I'm allowed to say the C word, a few years ago. Like maybe something you do is events and start to build up an email list, maybe. Or you could look at some ads, maybe on social or Google. It's a tough one. I guess I haven't thought about how to reach women in their 60s for a while. So I'd probably have to think about that, and you're welcome to message me, and if I come up with something, I guess I'd start to look at where are they, or where have some of your customers come from, and then maybe actually then what you would want to do, let me go back, is think about referral programs. So are there, it's so easy with coupons, in terms of to just go there, right? Like, refer a friend, 5% off for you, or 5% off for you, or here's a free thing, or this, or exclusivity. Exclusivity could be something, if you don't want to discount. There's a makeup brand, I don't even know how I found them, RMS, and they will have you do, you can chat with an advisor. So something like that to maybe do a little bit more grassroots, right? I don't know what that means. I do know what that means, but what it might mean for you. So things like that could work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? Kelvin.
What are some proactive ways, as we go back to the slide with Donald Miller, what are some proactive ways that know, besides just end result sales, what are some good proactive ways to know that you have clear messaging?
It's a great one. Ask people who don't know you, who don't know what you do. Ask me, who has an idea of maybe what you do, but might be completely wrong. Seriously, I will do it. If you don't want to ask people, then look at your touch points. So depending on what you have with the platform you're using. If somebody, and what I do is, I put myself in the mind of okay, I know nothing about someone. If I go to their website, do I know what they do? You talked about pitching. So if I'm going to go to, we're just going to pretend it's your website right now. If I'm going to go there, or I'm going to go to your LinkedIn profile. If you're using LinkedIn. If you're not using LinkedIn, don't worry about it. But let's say I go to your LinkedIn. Are you helping people who are pitching for startup capital, venture capital?
That's our primary, but similar to your Halo.
Yeah.
Our tool's actually helpful to communicate all ideas more persuasively, but our initial focus is the entrepreneurs having a clear message to get funded.
Right. Now, if I put on my old advertising hat, I think about a pitch in a totally different way. Are you helping me, as an agency, pitch my clients? No. I didn't think so, because we're at startup week. But those type of things. So put yourself in the mindset of, if somebody doesn't know me, doesn't know my company, if the first time they come to something that, whether it's a bio, a profile, a website, do they know what I do, right? I'd worry less about if they know the ins and outs of it per se, because someone might dig deeper, right? So some of those entrepreneurs are kind of that Halo audience. They might dig deeper to say okay, so he does this, his company does this. Let's see if they do that. Yeah.
And then a follow-up that just kind of
brought
me
please.
up to a follow-up. At what point, I've always been told, niche to get rich. Having that, and even the few panels before is about this being specific, right? But even a product like ours, where we actually do help professionals communicate more persuasively, if we're thinking about that home page at a certain point, if we've made enough traction in the the entrepreneurial space, but this tool is great for internal pitching and not just the fundraise pitch. How do you craft a message that speaks to the broad application of a tool like a pitch tool?
I mean, I deeply feel your pain. I deeply do. It is hard when you have something that does multiple things. I typically do custom strategies for people in marketing. And then I also have to be clear on what that means by strategy, right? I don't do your funnel. I might tell you to use a funnel or recommend it. I don't do ads. I don't do this. I have to explain what high-level strategy is. So I feel your pain. I've seen it done a couple different ways. I've actually seen someone I know who's a photographer. She does weddings and she does brand photography, and literally you go to her website and you choose which her so bad at tech, her banner front page, right? Wedding, personal branding, and you literally click and kind of go down a different route. It can be, you can change it, right? Let's say you can change the emphasis. So if it's primarily on getting capital, and then let's say let's say the fall is a big time for funding, where people are I want to get funding, so we're going to go. Seasonality, yep, okay. So if you have a season, right? So you might not have a season. There are people who are multi-passionate entrepreneurs. They just put out there what they want when they want it, whatever they're promoting, whatever service they want to offer. But if your business has seasonality, then during your on season for funding, your message is all about funding. And your LinkedIn profile or bio or all these different things, maybe put that at the top and then see other things. If you all want to laugh, go to my LinkedIn profile and you can see my business and then dot, dot, dot. And it also says Insights Leadership, because I started doing some contract work. It's bad. Do as I say, not as I do. But seasonality could be part of it. Otherwise, honest to God, get yourself an amazing copywriter who can fix that for you. That's one of the ones I throw money at a copywriter. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good point, because there's this notion that, if you have a multifaceted business or product, all aspects really are important, and that's what you're advertising. But as a startup, some of the feedback I've gotten from mentors and coaches was that it's too busy. You have to focus. And it's hard because all of it is part of that picture. All of it is part of the experience. And if I don't tell this, then you're taken away from the overall value. And so it's I respect it, and that's their perspective. But we don't know what would be the perspective of the readers. And I don't know what the good balance is. Is it you dumb it down, you get it to 5 slides when really you have 10 slides of engaging material, or you kind of cut yourself and you go with the 5, leave something out, but kind of sell yourself short. It's again, tough.
It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. I feel one of the hardest things that I've struggled through, just being a solo entrepreneur, so not trying to get capital, is just sometimes as a startup, you're probably you're still kind of figuring some of it out, maybe, right? You can tell me if I'm wrong, but it's you need to get clients in to know hey, or experience talking to them to know okay, this message, no, we do need 10 slides, or they're really responding to like this piece of it. And I'm seeing a pattern here of like, okay, I've done this a few times. Some people are really responding to this piece, so maybe that's where I put my emphasis. But it's like but it's that catch-22 of, for me, it was like, well, I needed to get clients in, so I better knew, like, here's what I really love. But without having a clear message about what I do, I couldn't get clients in. So it's a little bit of a catch-22, so I understand that. I have a soapbox about no shoulds. So like, yes, feedback is super helpful and important, and I have tons of coaches and mentors that I've worked with too, but you know your business. If it feels like you need these 10 slides, I know we're using this example, right now, here is my permission that you don't need, use the 10 slides. Because if you feel like that's what you need to tell the story, then what's actually gonna happen is you're gonna be in somewhere, right? Or you're gonna be here presenting and you're like, oh my God, I'm actually done really fast, so I'm gonna have to like hurry up and like add something in, and we're gonna talk about audiences. And I can do it because I feel okay with it, but like, if you feel like you haven't told like the full story of like what you have and what you do, it's gonna just, honestly, it's gonna feel icky, and then you're gonna wonder like, are they gonna buy, are they not? So I would say, take their advice and feedback, but if you're getting good stuff, using it and doing it the way you want, go for it. If you're not, then look at it and then throw money at a copywriter. Or another thing you can do too is, I'm just gonna use a website. Let's say you're above the fold. Someone in my career has pardon me. Above the fold might talk about like a little bit more of an expansive statement, like I help people, right? It's not specific at all. And then maybe it's in your navigation or the way you lay out the website, kind of giving people almost that like choose your own adventure of like, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Or it's just telling people, here are all the things we do that you can work with us for.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did introduce a table of content so they can clearly see what they're going to get from the presentation to let them choose.
Got deleted agenda, right? Everyone likes an agenda slide. Totally forgot mine. Yeah, and then people can go see what they want, and then they can learn more. And that's kind of a little bit, I think, to what Kelvin was saying too. It's like if you get people in and they're engaged with the topic or what you're talking about, they're interested in learning more, they're gonna learn, they're gonna go in, they're gonna like dive in, and they're gonna explore. So I like it. I think we're almost at time. Anyone else? Last questions. I know. Again, if you come up with one later, if you are online, reach out to me. Just be like, yo, I heard you. You can cold DM me, because it's not cold, because I've given you the invitation. Message me, 80 different ways to do it, and I'm happy to answer your questions or have a different chat. That's it. Thank you.
I personally love that one. I've been conflicted myself about, I've done sales, I've done product development work, I've been a CPA, but the whole marketing front, social media. Kelvin, you need to get more active on social. So seeing those four quadrants, Jim, was super helpful. And then being able to, if you got the money for it, pay for what you're not necessarily good at, that's going to be beneficial to your business. So aligning your strengths and your attitude to your preference, I thought that was super awesome.